Hello everyone and welcome to Civic Platform. This is your host Zuher Almusre. The Minister of Labor and Immigration, John Reyes, announced that the Manitoba government is providing a total of $4 million to 24 newcomer service provider organizations whose projects were selected through the Newcomer Community Integration Support NCIS program. Today, we are pleased to host the Minister John Reyes at Multicultural's Civic Platform to discuss this news. Honorable Minister, welcome to Civic Platform.
Thank you very much for having us here again. I just want to, I know this might be date stamp, but I just want to give a shout out to our Ukrainian community. It's Vyshyvanka Day. It's their traditional embroidered shirt. I don't have mine on, but I want to thank the Ukrainian Canadian Congress for the shirt and for their ongoing friendship and support, like all ethnic communities.
Thank you very much. So, could you please provide some more information about the announcement and its importance to our province and Winnipeg?
Yeah, so the recent announcement, $7.1 million to the Newcomer Community Supports, Integration Supports, helps these newcomer settlement organizations help newcomers when they transition into our province. One of the things is that we know that like our last interview, we are getting more allocations to the province of Manitoba through our provincial nominee program. So we're going to be receiving more newcomers. So with that, one of the considerations of the Immigration Advisory Council and myself as a minister was to increase the funding for that. And you know what, down the road, because I've been asked already, is that if we're going to be receiving more newcomers into the future, that we will probably, as the minister responsible, I just want to make sure that the appropriate funding is there to support these organizations because they do great work.
Mm-hmm. So, what are the criteria for selecting the 24 organizations?
Well, one of the criteria, which keeps evolving year after year, one of them definitely you have to be a non-profit organization. Mm-hmm. It can't be for-profit, so it's a non-profit organization. One of the criterias involved as well is one of the scopes that we looked at is it's not just for the city of Winnipeg, but you have to have representation across the province, northern Manitoba, southern Manitoba, Winnipeg, obviously the Westman area. So it had to be very, very, very equitable and fair with regards to spreading the funding out. Mm-hmm. I'm very happy that they received their funding. I know that, some did not. But, we're always going to be looking at other ways that we can fund organizations because I think it's very important that we do so that we can support newcomers coming to our province.
Perfect. And how will this organization contribute to welcome new immigrants? Yeah,
well, they have their programs and services. I can tell you someone like Manitoba Start, who generally receives our funding year after year, helps with helping them, the individuals, be gainfully employed, updating the resume, English training, stuff like that that'll help that individual transition to being able to work in our province.
Great. And is there like a supervision from the Ministry of the organization to ensure maximum benefit for the immigrants?
Yeah, so basically we do have criteria and we do have reporting methods for organizations when they're performing their operations and processes to ensure that newcomers are benefiting from it. We need to be cognizant of the reporting methods, reporting back to government to ensure the money is well used. Mm-hmm. One thing I can tell you is that the organizations that got the funding, we've made it easier for them, facilitated, where there's multi-year funding versus the year-by-year funding. We've only given that to newer organizations, but we have that trusted relationship. But we want to make sure that they're accountable as well, because we want to make sure that the newcomers have the great experience when they go to those organizations for support.
Sounds great. And those organizations have a long history of working with immigrants. Is this support only a continuation of their work, or there is or this organization they have like a new additions now, and that's why the ministry decide to give them like a more chance?
Yes, you know what the thing is, we know that things are always evolving when it comes to certain jobs, updating resumes, programs that or courses that people may need to, say, get a credential for the profession that they have or their education. So that's always changing, modernizing, and we want to ensure that when the newcomer, when the immigrant comes and applies or is involved with one of these organizations, that they're well serviced by these organizations. That's why the funding is going to help the organizations tremendously, and of course the newcomer.
Mm-hmm. Is the amount of like 4 million enough from your point of view, especially with the arrival of such large numbers of immigrants to our province?
Well, you know, we've doubled the funding from 2 million to 4 million. So of course, it is adequate right now. But like I said, in the future, if not, I guess I wouldn't say if, when we receive more newcomers to the province, we're going to have to review as a government to ensure that the proper funding and grants are there for these organizations so that they can be able to operate.
Mm-hmm. Like there is like another non-profit organization and also help newcomers, for example, like entry program, and this programs like stopped for like some reasons. They didn't get like funds anymore, even they are like matching the criteria. If there is like specific reasons, some organization like that will get rejected or they didn't get the funds?
Yeah, well, what I can tell you, there are some wonderful organizations out there, many of them, and some of them get funding from the province, some of them get funding from the federal government, and some of them get funding from private donations. What I can tell you is, if we had an endless pot of funding, I'd love to support all these organizations. It's a very competitive process. It didn't happen even the last time, but this time some people were able to, apply, make sure that they met the criteria. So what I can say to those organizations that are wanting to help, these individuals is to just go back to the drawing board. Communicate with my office. I mean, my door is always open with regards to assisting organizations. It always has been, and I'll make sure that they get that assistance when they can.
And what are the challenges that NCIS face in achieving its goals?
Well, you know what? I haven't really heard any challenges in terms of the fund itself, because we've added more to the fund. We've doubled the fund. What I can say is that even the groups that are receiving the funding, they're doing quite well. They're always communicating with our office. We have that Immigration Advisory Council report, I think, that I gave you, which shows that it's very important as a government that we have the newcomer settlement supports, because we're going to have more newcomers come into our province. Obviously, we're going to need more infrastructure. I'm going to have to communicate with the municipalities, City of Winnipeg, City of Brandon, the towns, and the small rural municipalities to ensure that they have the proper infrastructure so that they can welcome these newcomers, so that they'll be able to live, work, and stay in their areas.
Mm-hmm. And what is your advice to immigrants who are following you now to find out how they can benefit from this funding?
Yeah, well, what I can tell the immigrants that are here and the immigrants that will be coming here, I want to just share a story where my dad came here in 1968, my mom came here the year afterwards. There wasn't this type of support back in the late 60s. What I can tell you is that there are so many great organizations helping newcomers, whether their place of their destination is the City of Winnipeg, Steinbach, Thompson. There are organizations out there that are welcoming these newcomers to ensure that they're comfortable, that we make them feel welcome, safe, integrate with the community, and they're doing great work. I met with the Manitoba Association of of newcomers or of the organization MANSO, they're called, and it's basically a group that has all the organized settlement organizations under one umbrella. And one thing that I told them is that they're doing great work. The Ukraine crisis, welcoming Ukrainians. You know, as a province, I'm very proud. We've been able to expedite these individuals getting their health care cards, their social insurance numbers, so that they can work, they can transition. Something that we talked about. And if we can do it for the Ukrainian community or for these individuals coming here, we can do it for all communities. And that's something that I want to work on so that we can expedite the process. Want to make newcomers feel welcomed that much quicker.
And this is my final question. I just want to ensure the newcomers hear this answer from you, because when I met them, they said the government make their job and provide these funds, and we have organizations make a very good job, but we didn't hear about them. We don't know how to reach for them. Like after 3 years, some newcomers, they said where I can, for example, get a free clothes or a free food, for example. I was struggling my first year. Where these people, they are doing great job, but I didn't hear about them. So how we can fill these gaps or find this missing piece to make the newcomers, once they are arriving to our province, find this access to all this nice organizations.
And that's why we need some sort of welcoming reception center when people arrive to our province. I think as a government, we have to do I say we could always improve and enhance our programs and services, and part of that is communicating with the newcomer organizations and make sure that we advertise properly. I think a lot of people have mobile devices. So obviously social media is a big thing nowadays in terms of getting the word out there. But Zuher, I want to thank you for the opportunity for interviewing me, so that we can spread this awareness on how we can help newcomers coming to our province. And like I said, they're welcome to reach my office anytime, and I have staff that will get back to them. And I think that's what we're doing. We're creating awareness. This is why we're doing this interview. I'm very happy to do this interview with you again. I know we've done it many times, whether it's here or at the mosque in Waverly, or I think we were at RBC Center, just on the spot. And I've never refused an interview, because I think it's positive what Zuher is doing, getting the word out, and I'm very happy to do so.
Thank you very much for having us in your office one more time. I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Shukran. Thank you.
We reached the end of our episode. Thank you for watching. If you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe, and wait for a new episode from Civic Platform. Thank you, Minister. Thank you very much. Yeah.